Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Synthwave Hangout. This is episode 31, believe it or not. My name, as always, is Memory Design.
And my name is Woren.
And today, we do have a guest who is Hollywood Brown, but due to a work obligation, he's going to be popping in a little bit late. So it's just going to be me and Woren here dunking on each other for a little bit until Hollywood Brown shows up. Your favorite thing, your favorite activity. No, we were just talking about before the show that it's summertime and we got all the kids home, which is the best part of the year, right?
Yeah, the most fun.
I
love it so much. I cannot contain my happiness.
Yeah, it's amazing. Finding something to do. Well, you got, I only have one, and I know you have a few running around all annoying each other constantly.
Yeah,
and
they fight over everything, and it's awesome. It's really cool having to put out fires all day long.
Right. So. Yeah. So you're living the dream over there. Here's going pretty well. My daughter's in camp, as you know, so I do still get some time, but it's not the same as school. But, you know, it's the same kind of...
It's still pretty cool, though.
It's still pretty cool, though, because I get to do stuff like this without somebody looking at me through the window of my studio,
just staring at you.
Just staring at me, waiting for me to start playing a block of music to come in and ask me a question about a game or something she's doing.
Right? Can I color on the wall?
Right.
No,
right.
Absolutely not.
Exactly. See, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Oh, Maya just jumped in the chat, and so did Aaron Niles. What's up, guys?
Hello. Hi, peeps.
So, what was I gonna say?
Man, it's been a wild summer. It's I don't even think it's been a week yet. I think it's actually been officially a week today, and
feels like a year, right?
Yeah. It's been the longest week of my life. It feels like
you're like looking back at family photos from like 2 weeks ago, and you're like, God, I remember,
right.
I remember this time. If only we could go back to this era or something like that.
I'm just so tired all the time, man. They're up late, and then like I don't know. It doesn't. I need to get this schedule worked out somehow with these kids.
Yeah, you know how it works. It'll take probably 3 months to work it out, and then boom, right back in.
Just before summer. Yeah, just before summer ends, I'll be like, hey, they're actually going to bed at a decent time.
Right.
The school starts.
So, do you want to talk at all about your project coming up before Hollywood Brown gets on, or are you kind of keeping that under wraps until you have more info?
Well, I mean, I don't mind talking about it. No, I have as you know, the Windows album I've been working on for like the past year, and I think we decided on a release date of July 25th, which is my birthday.
Nice.
And that will be next month. And
man, I can't believe you're turning 21 finally. That is awesome.
I know, right?
That is amazing. You can finally have a drink. Sorry to interrupt.
Finally drink.
I thought that joke was so important. I had to interrupt your story.
Honestly, it was worth it. Honestly, it was worth it. Totally. And yes, the dogs bark. Perfect. Anyways, so no, I was gonna say it comes out on the 25th. I'm super excited about it, and it's I don't know. I'm very proud of this album. I put a lot of effort and work into this.
I feel like I've been there kind of since the beginning with this, with you figuring out different mixing techniques and ways to get that sound correct. You know, and I'm very excited for people to hear this. I know you've given some previews to some heavy hitters in the community, and they've put their stamp of approval on it. So I think it's going to really land well. And I don't want to talk it up too much, you know, and then people hear it and they're like, ow. Or something.
Yeah, I know.
It'll change your
like, I thought
life.
You said this was good. I thought you said this was going to be good.
Right. They hear it and they're all like set up. They took work off that day, you know, and everything. They're like, ow.
Right. Death staring me.
Right. They want to do a party with you,
like,
just one-on-one on video chat.
Right. Like, wait, what? What happened? Is everybody okay?
Right. They need you to sit on a tall...
You listened to it, didn't you? Like, that's what I'll be looking at. I'm like, you listened to it, didn't you?
They need you to sit on like a tall wooden stool with no back the whole time and just look at you, you know, in some uncomfortable situation.
Like, a couple people have those the fire blanket, you know, those like silver blankets.
Oh yeah, right. They give you right to like keep you warm. You're just,
Right.
covered in it. Oh,
Yeah,
Harvey
for
Hero
comfort.
just jumped in. What's up?
Hey.
But yeah, so
Yeah, man.
what were we talking about
And,
again? Something about
We're
something
talking about my
music.
album. It's totally
right.
fine. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like I mean it. You know, I mean I obviously put a lot of thought into these things when I make my albums. So it's like I'm really excited. I'm really hoping that everyone enjoys it, and I'm really hoping that I never have to listen to it again.
Right.
For at least a year.
We're at that part now where like you'll have to come up with little promos for it. You'll be like, I don't know. Just pick whatever.
Right, exactly.
Just put whatever.
Exactly,
on.
yeah, just like you'll notice each video gets lazier.
Right. And then you just revert to the static image of the cover. Right. That's when you know it's the end of the cycle. Right. It's either that's at the beginning of the cycle.
I no longer have any. I have nothing left in me anymore.
Right. That's typically the beginning of the cycle or the end of the cycle. Like, oh God, I don't have a promo that's, ready yet. So I'll just put the cover up with a song. People do that all the time. I've done that. And then, or it's at the end where you're like, I just can't edit, things with a, RGB shift and static on it anymore. I just can't.
Right.
Do this.
Like, the 30th time I've done that. It's like,
Right.
Well.
Big shout out to
I'm excited.
big shout out to Neon Shards that just popped in, and also Future Past Radio, who does an awesome live DJ thing on Twitch. Does a lot of really good mixing of synthwave stuff, including a ton of RetroSynth people. So always glad to see him here.
Did you do this last show by any chance?
What?
The everybody that hops in, we're like shouting them out real quick. Were you doing this during the Cosmonic thing? I missed.
I don't think so, but I've noticed some people. I do this sometimes. Maybe I haven't been paying attention. Just when certain people pop in, if I see them right in the chat window, I'll say it. Oftentimes I don't. If I miss people, it's because I'm too busy, focusing on something else. But no, I try to shout some people out. I want to make.
No, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. You're making me pay more attention right by doing that. I'm
just trying to make Craig
what
happy.
about all the rest of the listeners?
No. Forget the other listeners. Just the people that pop in when I'm paying attention right now. It's the other people. Like Craig, Craig always wants the roll call at the end, where I have to go through like a class list and list everyone.
Did you do the Bugs Bunny news?
Right. And I have nothing against that, but man, it's hard because you can go to participants at the top, right? But that's only the people that have been chatting recently. And then so people that are just listening or whatever, I can't see. Or people that haven't chatted in a while.
They're not always there. Yeah.
Future Past Radio said he did a lot of memory design tracks yesterday. I'll have to go back and watch that stream.
Yeah, you might want to get him like one of those blankets and like a cup of coffee or something.
What are you saying?
I said you said he did a bunch of your tracks yesterday. I said you might want to get him one of those blankets.
Oh, right, the blanket.
Comfort him. I'm sorry you had to do that, Future.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Hollywood Brown is going to be real upset when he hops in the show and realizes the motif is the reflective foil blanket. That seems to be the theme of the show.
Right.
So, all right. Well, let's see.
We're here to comfort you in this time of need.
Let's move on. Unless you got something else to say, we can play some more tracks. See if Hollywood Brown hops in. I've got his stuff further down in the list, so I can readjust that as we go on. If he pops in earlier. But I wanted to give a lot of open space just in case he took a little bit more time. Anything else you want to say before we hop in to the next one?
No, I'm good, man. Good.
All right.
I'm just glad I can. We haven't chatted much, so I mean, it's nice.
No, at the beginning of the summer, so it's just like Christmas vacation. It's like all of a sudden we are no longer friends. We never talk.
Yeah. It's okay.
You're making all this effort, and I'm just like see your name on my phone and just throw it in the ocean. I'm like, no.
You're like, no, not doing that right now. Come back later.
I'll talk to you in a week. So, all right. Let's move on. The first person or the first artist in this next block is the newest by Arcade Beach. This is Bad Morphine.
Ooh, hey, real quick.
Yes. I've stopped it.
I got your vinyl, by the way.
Oh, it came
in the mail today.
Oh, that's amazing. Let's talk about that after. I have.
Yeah, that's fine. My wife brought it to me, and I jumped for joy, and I was like, I'll interrupt this song. I don't care right now.
That's amazing. I wonder if I have mine. I should go check.
I'm excited.
Oh, man. Right, okay, we'll talk about it in a minute. All right. Once again, Bad Morphine by Arcade Beach. Wow, that was that Light Source song. It always puts me in that space that you're talking about, Warren, with you know, where you're kind of zoned out a little bit.
Yeah, you just get lost in it.
Just get lost in it. It's so smooth. I love that song. But I have great news for everybody. Our guest of the show is finally here. Please welcome Hollywood Brown. Are you there?
Hey guys, I'm here.
How are you?
Hey.
Hey, yeah, I'm all good. I'm all good. How are you?
Doing great. I'm just checking your volume again. Oh, you are not terrible.
I'm terrible. I'm doing awful. My kids are home. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, the whole beginning of the show, we were talking about that. That was kind of the motif of the first part.
Just go right back to it again. Just dive right back into it.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
So, anyways, my kids.
Right.
Yeah, I only have a cat, so I can't quite relate.
Well, does that cat need things?
She certainly does.
Yeah, but constantly, and is always fighting with other cats.
Yes, right.
No, she's an only cat.
She's an only cat.
Gotcha. Right.
You heard it first here.
Yeah, I mean, she can be quite needy, but ultimately, she's not hard work. Not in the same league. So I'm quite lucky.
So
that's my favorite thing. That's my favorite thing that people do that don't have kids. That's the favorite thing that they always bring up is that they have dogs or cats. They'll be like, I don't have kids, but I have like 3 dogs. And I'm
right.
Like, okay.
Oh yeah.
And?
right. You have no idea. See, the show is about this now. You just hopped into the parents chat show, I guess.
That's fine. I mean, like, yeah, I'm trying to contribute in my own way.
Right.
Hey, that's all right.
So the question I always bring up to our guests right when they come in, usually at the beginning of the show, is so for anybody that's not familiar with Hollywood Brown as an artist, can you explain kind of what you do, what your music style is, you know, that whole spiel?
Yeah, of course. So the style of music is sort of 80s inspired pop, rock, a little bit of funk in there. So I guess you could call it, you know, synthwave, retrowave, if you wanted to give it a modern label. And really what I try to do is to make the most accurate 80s sounding tracks I can.
Right.
So
you have to listen to this on a cassette almost, right? Like it is so authentic sounding. That's the first thing that I remember when I first heard you. I was like, is this now? Was this made now? You know, like that was literally the first thing I thought. Like I had to make sure, because you know there could be people that were doing this in the 80s or early 90s and now they're doing it again as they're older or something like that. I had to make sure it was not made recently or check if it was.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, and that's great. That's what I love to hear. Those kind of comments are just like, yeah, you know, sounds like I'm doing it right.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, you know, I do, you know, I like a lot of different styles of music, and obviously, you know, the more modern sounding synthwave is super cool as well. It's just my whole sort of being is all about the retro stuff. So I spend a lot of time really delving into, you know, what effects change that they use, what did they use on the guitars and the vocals, how did they mix. So even when it comes to the mixing aspect, I don't use any sort of modern techniques. And to be honest, I've been doing this a while, and I guess it started with me just not knowing those modern tricks.
Right.
And it got to a point where, you know, I was trying to, because I have done different types of music in the past, where I was, you know, and just keep getting pulled back into this style, and for me it's just, I guess I just make music that I like to listen to myself, and I really try and get that sort of feel across where people go, you know, like you say, you know, is this recent, or is this actually an old track that I've never heard before?
Right.
And that's you know, that's it. And you know, a lot of it comes from my own taste, and some of it is sort of like kind of my idea of you know, going back to a simpler time, and this is like a part of it for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I'm glad you do it too, because I gotta say is like you can tell. I've said this 1,000 times, so get out your bingo cards. But you can tell when somebody actually enjoys making the music versus somebody who's just kind of running through the motions,
Phoning it in to emulate a sound of another artist they like or something like that.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, for you, it's like I remember
awesome.
when we were in the listening party. I believe it was for your thing, and I was asking you about your chain and stuff, because I'm not going to ask you to go over it here. Yeah. But I was like, I got to know. I have to know what's going on here, because.
No, I remember that. No, that's cool, you know, and I think it's sort of like, you know, what. And all the, if you hear any clicking, by the way, I'm driving and it's an indicator.
Man, you are so dedicated. I appreciate you making time to get on here. By the way, I know you're working.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Like,
I mean,
you're like driving, doing surgery during the phone call, doing all sorts of stuff, and you're still here. I really appreciate that.
No, absolutely. I mean, there's, you know, it's one of the things I enjoy is to talk about music with other people that like music and are passionate about it. And so, you know, when you asked me, I was like, yeah, totally. So it was just a case of working it in, and unfortunately, I've actually had to come in to the office today because I do work from home a lot, and I ended up having to have a meeting. So yeah, hence I'm a bit late, and apologies, but thanks for understanding.
Okay.
So,
better late than never.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought, no, I'll just you know, I'll join while some driving home. It's going to be.
We call him, we're like, what are you up to? And he's like, I'm just diffusing this bomb. Don't worry.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
but what's that beeping in the background? Right. Don't worry about that.
No, it's fine. I made time for this. Don't worry. Anything for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you don't snip the wire till there's only a second left anyway, don't you? So
yeah, exactly. Right. Is it the yellow wire with the red stripe, or is it the red wire with the yellow stripe?
Well, that's the big question.
That's the tough one.
Let me go back to your sound a little bit. I've had somebody in the past when I've shown them your stuff, and they say it sounds like very authentic, but like, you know, the modern stuff has more of a bass low end and stuff like that. And I don't know if this was your intention or not, but what I've said is like, what did you used to do in the 80s and 90s when you put in a tape or set up your stereo? And they're like, oh, well, I'd put on music and I'd adjust my EQ and do all this sort of stuff. And I'm like, listen to something that was made back then with a totally flat EQ. And they were like, oh my God, you're right.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, because that used to be part of the deal. You'd get in your car and you had, you know, your bass all the way up and the treble, and everything mixed up. And that was part of the experience back then.
And same with your stereo, you know, your own speakers, whether you've got more bassy speakers or you know, or not, you know, you would have put a bit more low end or taken a bit out or whatever. And obviously with this type of music at the time, you know, for it being cut on vinyl, the mad sub bass that we can produce now cause the needle to jump out of the groove.
Right.
So there was a bit of that as well. So I suppose, you know, to the sound, it's not just the, you know, what sources you pick, you know, what sound sources and how you process them, you know, what effects you put on and all that kind of thing. It's also like the mixing stage. So I do roll off quite a lot of low end, and a lot of it does sound, you know, quite bright, but then, you know, a lot of those 80s mixes were super bright, and you know, you always see the joke of you know, back in the 80s, all the cocaine they were doing in the studios, everything gets hyped up in the high end.
Right, and that was part of this process, right? You're saying making this record, right?
No, come on, I didn't say that.
I didn't say that, at least not publicly.
But no, it's it's part of getting that sound, and I think whenever you make music, especially these days, like it's awesome in a way that it's so easy for us to upload it to Spotify and all those kind of things. But then
it's a wild time.
Flip side, yeah, but I mean, the flip side is that there is a lot of music out there, and that's cool, So I've always
you say that's cool in the same sense that I think about how much music there is out there being released all the time. Like, yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it certainly is a different environment. That's true.
Yeah, it's for people like me, we wouldn't have been able to do that in the 80s or 90s or whatever, unless we would have been part of a big label with the funds to get those records cut and to get them out there, and nobody would have heard it. So the fact that I can reach people all over the world is awesome.
Yeah.
But then there's also loads of competition, so you got to have something that makes you stand out as well. So I've always come at it from a point of I want to make.
I was going to say competition. Like, who's your competition?
Yeah, your sound is unique, like you don't sound like a million other artists that I've heard anyways.
Well, I mean, again, that's really great, and I'm really happy that comes across. So I guess, I've succeeded in my my mission there,
right.
least. So,
he's done.
Right, you're done. One album and you're out, right? You've done your job.
Yeah, he succeeded and he's done. Yeah, right. Yeah, you're like, I succeeded, and that's it.
Right. The next thing you have out is all EDM or something, right? Like totally different.
Yeah.
It's all bass. That's all it is.
All bass.
Not drum and bass or hip hop.
Just 100% low end.
Yeah, it's just straight hip hop. Right?
Yeah, that'd be quite funny actually. But yeah, no, I think it's like you got to make music because you love it, because you can't expect much in return other than
100%.
Yep.
The fact that I can reach people like you guys are in the States, and there's people in Canada, South America, and whatever. Right. Sometimes they'll send me messages. You go, "Oh, I found this and it's really cool," and I'm like, it makes you feel great.
Yep.
So that's the main reward, rather than this isn't gonna get me to buy a Rolls Royce or something.
Right.
That kind of.
It's important to remember that it's not. If you're looking to do music for financial gain and financial gain only, then you really have a very small market in order to do that. Like, I feel like,
right.
I mean,
exactly.
It's for me, I'm the same as you. Is like it's important to be happy with what you're doing, because.
Exactly.
And once again, here's another radio show trope we have here, but it's in my opinion, it's like. It's yours until you release it, and then it's everybody else's. So you got to be happy with it first.
Oh, I got bingo. I got it.
You got it.
Go on. I'm sorry.
Oh, brilliant. No problem. No, but that's exactly it. I mean, I wanted to make, music that I get excited about myself, and all I can do is hope that it resonates with others. But if I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't do it, because again, I have nothing against like people playing in tribute or covers bands, or
Mm-hmm.
You get the people that make styles of music that either do well on streaming services, or
right.
They do the sort of music that you find in the charts at the moment. No, if you wanted to do that for a living, then you could do that, but I wouldn't be happy. I don't think I'd feel any different about that than I would just going to a normal day job. It's just in brackets, it's just a job. So and this is a passion. So yeah, I mean, absolutely, if there's any way for me to do this professionally, hell yeah.
Right.
But
of course.
That's
sure.
That's not the main goal is to have fun doing it, and to get excited, because I don't think I'd still be making music. I think I probably would have given up if all I wanted to do was, turn this into some kind of career that pays my bills. I wouldn't be as excited about doing this kind of thing, and I think it varies for everybody, and some people get a lot of enjoyment. I know people are playing in covers bands and they love it, whereas I've tried it and I've done a couple of gigs where I've filled in or whatever, and I just don't get the same enjoyment out of it, because it's like, it's not the same, because it just feels more like work rather than I'm showcasing, I'm doing a gig, one of my tracks, and if somebody comes up to me afterwards and goes, "Oh, that was great," that's made my day. That's cool. That's all I need.
Right. That does feel great.
You want people to feel, you know what I mean? Like that's exactly what it is. Yeah, you want people to feel what you're doing, and then you want to feel good about what you're doing. And I think that's super important. We do have we have a few questions before we jump to the next little part here. But one of the questions that popped up that I'm actually curious about, because I never asked you this, is where did the name Hollywood Brown come from? Because it's awesome.
Oh, well, again, thanks.
Your answer should be, it's a secret, and we just move on, right? Or something, like you'll never share it.
It's a family name.
I was born with it. What can you do?
Right. My parents were hippies. My name is Hollywood.
Yeah. No, unfortunately, it's as simple as my own official name is not particularly exciting, and I was looking for something that fit with this style of music, and I thought, because I used to have bands. I used to play in bands, so obviously we had the band name, so my name was really better in that sense. And then when I started doing stuff by myself, it kind of became a thing of, okay, so what do I call myself? So I tried doing stuff under my own name, and it didn't
have a punch.
And I thought, I'm thinking 80s. So what, again, going back to my sort of goal is to transport the listener back to that time, whether you live through it or not. We've all watched the movies, and we've all seen the music videos, even if you weren't around it. So
I like the idea of it too, because there's a band out there I really like called Portugal the Man, and I believe the way that they described the name of the band was like it's kind of like a bigger than themselves. You know what I mean? So it kind of you know what I mean? It builds intrigue because it's kind of like this, like almost like a main character in the story. Yeah.
I like it. No, that's a pretty cool name. I haven't heard of it.
I like. Yeah, they're great. No, but I'm just saying in general, like the the name, like Hollywood Brown, is like so much bigger.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It sounds very grandiose,
and it's memorable. It's memorable.
Exactly.
I heard it once and I never forgot it. Because
I'm so glad. I mean, this is it. So I guess what is that?
Oop, hold on, you're breaking up a bit. You're breaking up a bit. Can't hear you.
Am I back?
Yeah, we have music playing in the background. We turn that down a little bit because you're going in and out. So just to make sure people can hear you. Go on. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, so my sound is more based on the sounds of American radio rather than sort of the British sort of synth pop sound. So I go more for the the sort of pop rock sound. So I thought, I need an American sounding name for a start, because it's going to sound cool, and I was watching, I actually got it from watching one of the Top Gun films, and one of the pilots' call signs is Hollywood, and I thought that would make a really, really badass first name.
Yeah.
And I thought, but I wanted it to be a name, so I thought, well, I'm going to need a surname. So, and I always like colour surnames, and I settled on Brown as a little homage to Eddie Van Halen's guitar tone, often referred to as the Brown sound.
Oh, okay.
So big fan of EVH. So I thought, yeah, that would work really well. I tried going under, because again, I'm a big Prince fan, so I tried to go with the mononym, as I call it, for a bit, but it didn't quite translate. So I thought, yeah, I'm gonna settle on this, and the more I wrote it down, the more it started to feel right, to the point where it actually feels like a second name. So if somebody,
right,
like you guys yesterday were like, what do we call you? And you just call me that. I still respond to it.
Right. So if somebody yells Hollywood in a crowd, you'll turn
yeah,
around.
Yeah, I'll probably turn around. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why it popped in my head, but I thought, because you were saying that you had to pick like an American name, and I thought, how funny would it be if you would ended up being like Wellington Brown or something like that.
Yeah, I like his choice better. Everyone's opinion counts, but I think he.
Yes.
But
I don't know why it popped into my head, but it was the first thing that popped in my head was like if he was just like, I'm Wellington Brown, and I'd been like, okay.
Oh, great. So
we're at that ring to it.
We're at the top of the hour. We're at the top of the hour here, so we got to move on to the next block. But you and I are both on this album that Nicholas Rickson just released, called The Ravishing of Nicholas Rickson. Which I love that name. I love that name.
I know.
And you and I both have remixes of his stuff on that, along with a bunch of other great artists. And so this next track that we're going to play is going to be my remix from it.
Right.
And then
I haven't heard any of the other ones yet, by the way, so this is going to be super exciting.
Oh, cool. Yeah. And I never play any of my stuff on the show because that feels weird, but
sure. Yeah, I get that.
But so this is one of the few rare times you'll hear a memory design thing, and then we've got a couple more after this.
That's awesome. There's a listening party for it tomorrow, by the way.
Yep. Yeah, I was just about to say that, actually. Yeah, there's a listening party tomorrow.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I'm going to be dropping dropping a link like I do for all the tracks. So if you're interested in coming to the listening party, click the link after the after the track name, and you can just click attend right there. I'm very excited about it. I want to hear everyone's tracks. I have heard a few. And everything is sounding really, really good. So I definitely I'm looking forward to be there with everybody.
Yeah, me too.
All right, so let's move on. Then, if you can mute your mic, and then I will we'll come back right after. Do. And so this next one up is my remix of the Nicholas Rickson song Verona. I'll talk to everybody very soon.
But nothing lasts forever. pick up the phone.
I won't pick up the phone.
Let's hit the road, baby.
I don't care where we go.
Never going home. Run away with me on the open road.
Hit the gas, I won't let go.
Run away with me to the everglow. You got me chasing a fever like a non-believer.
Midnight run away.
So come on, baby, let me take you higher.
Dance the night away. Dance the night
She's got her hands on my shoulders and her hair in the wind. We're chasing down the sun as the moon rises in.
My hands slide down as you shift into gear.
If love were a battlefield, I'd surrender here. You got me chasing a fever like a non-believer.
Midnight run away.
So come on, baby, let me take you higher.
Dance the night away. Dance the night away. Dance the night away. Dance the night away.
It's close to midnight. She whispers in my ear. I've never felt like my heart is hers to steal. As the walls come down, I've got it bad. When she says she needs me, understand. You leave your love at home, I've got it bad. When she says don't leave me, understand. Before we fall apart, restless summer, I'm in love with the loss of you. I'm giving in, don't you wonder how it all falls apart so soon as the walls come down. I just got to make time. We fall too far, too fast. We just got to realize this love's not meant to last. As the walls come down, I've got it bad. When she says she needs me, understand. You leave your love at home, I've got it bad. when she says don't leave me, understand. Before we fall apart, restless summer, I'm in love with the loss of you. I'm giving in, don't you wonder how it all falls apart so soon. As the walls come down, days of thunder, I'm in love with the loss of you. I'm giving in, distant lover, how it all falls apart so soon. As the walls come down, cause I got it bad. You'll understand. Cause I got it bad. Please understand. Cause I got it
And we're back. I know you like that song particularly, Woren, right?
Dude, it's that part, man. Every time.
Yep. I love
That one part just gets me every time, man.
Right. Oh, man.
Goosebumps, man. I don't know.
Yeah, great track. But yeah, everybody check out that Nicholas Rickson album. I posted the link earlier. I'll throw it in again. A lot of people in this chat, or some people in this chat rather, are on it, including the guests on our show. Like I said, Jesse Mock, OAG is on it, Future Analog, and a bunch of other people. So definitely, here's the link again. I'll wait to post it for about 30 seconds so it makes sense. But anyways, so we are back with Hollywood Brown here.
Hello.
Dude, your track's awesome though, Dave, by the way. I just want to say I literally every time you put something out, I'm always excited about it. And I don't know.
I like to overuse stuff on remixes. Like I like to try to have fun with them. So I'm like, what could this use? I know, more saxophone, and let's have like harmonic guitars and just the most extreme stuff I can think of. It's fun. I don't know. I enjoy it.
I think with remixes, it's quite difficult. I mean, I've never actually done one, so I kind of had a similar idea. Okay, so what we got? Yeah, Carlos, all of it.
you were breaking up pretty bad. Unfortunately.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. I mean, it's not like you can do anything about it. I was just giving you a heads up. I didn't hear that last thing you said. I'm turning you up a little bit too.
Okay, yeah. No, all I was saying was I'd never actually done a remix before, but I followed a similar kind of idea, as in, what are we going for? So let's put all of it in.
Right.
Like I said about the saxophones and stuff.
Right. So you can do stuff you wouldn't normally do, although I do that kind of stuff in my own music, I guess. So, but I feel more free to experiment, I guess, and do other things.
I think when somebody asks you to do a remix, they're asking for you to put your style on it. So you're going to pick that and then just amplify it. Whereas I suppose if you do your own stuff, you try and sort of strike more of a balance, maybe. Yeah. I don't know. It was quite interesting. I can't wait to hear all the other remixes, because the fun tracks in their own right. And it took me quite a while to pick one. So, I thought, all of these are, all of these are cool. So
I'm a big.
I'm
I'm a big fan of Nick Rickson, and his album, his last album he put out, is one of my favorites. I've heard in the past, I don't know, year, I guess. I listen to it all the time. There's something about the album and how it's put together, and my favorite song on it is Verona. And so when this came out, I was like, let me do that.
Right.
Let me pick it right away. Let me snag that before anyone else grabs it. So in the chat,
it's pretty cool.
In the chat,
I was gonna say remixes for me are always tough too because it's either I either hit or miss 90% of the time, or 50% of the time, I guess.
Well,
but it's like
you are working on something though, right? Like an extra remix or something, or
yeah. Nick likes it. I am not in love with it yet, but I mean, we'll see. I don't know.
Nick just said stop it, but put don't in parentheses before.
Right.
Stop talking about me.
Oh, that's brilliant.
But in the chat, Craig has these questions he brings up, and he always has the same two initially anyways. He wants to know what your favorite breakfast cereal is, and also what DAW you use.
Okay. Well, the DAW one's easy. I use Cubase, and it's Cubase.
Cubase. I don't know if we've had that before. The only other person I know, a lot of people use Cubase. I mean, it's been around forever. I know Glenn Main uses Cubase. A lot of Ableton and Fruity Loops I hear a lot, but Cubase I haven't heard that in a while.
Okay.
Yeah,
maybe
it's cool.
It's because of where we start, and I think a lot of people that started off doing computer music.
Yeah.
I guess you would have started with loops and building tracks with loops and stuff like that, because that's how you learned. Whereas I guess I started off with a really old version of Cubase and just sequencing like a synthesizer.
Yeah.
So I guess I've always stuck with that idea. So my workflow is really different from most people I know, because of how they've come at it. So yeah, I can see why it's probably a bit. I don't actually know many people that use Cubase either. Really, it tends to be Fruity or Logic.
Right. Yeah. Logic is another one.
I have a few friends that use Cubase as well that I know of. But I have friends that use at least something, one of the somethings. You know what I mean? Like I have a buddy that uses Reason, and then obviously we have the Reaper gang over here. People with Reaper.
Yeah, Neon Shards just said like Reaper gang represent or something like that.
Logic is another one that people use a lot. Is Logic if you're a Mac person.
Yep. Yeah, Logic is pretty popular as well. I'm stuck on Pro Tools, as many people know, and it's the same thing, kind of like you said, where it's kind of what you start with. And my friends are always showing me how easy stuff is to do on like Fruity Loops or Ableton for this kind of music, and how it helps you do stuff, and the workflow is better. And I'm like, no, I must suffer because I learned it once.
Yeah,
like years ago. Now I have to continue.
It's very daunting to open a new DAW.
It is.
Yep.
It really is. I tried Ableton and I had no idea what was going on. I didn't get it.
Yeah.
Like the clips and I mean, I think if you maybe I don't know, maybe it's how your brain's wired or something. If you know what it does, I'm sure it's super powerful. But I looked at it, I was, what am I doing? Where's all my tracks?
They all are. Hey, to be honest, they all are. They're all good. Okay, it just depends on what you want to use.
Yeah,
like you said, what are you comfortable with?
True. Yeah.
What hurts your brain less to use, basically.
Yeah, that's what it is, isn't it? It's something. But then like I work with SAP, so I mean I don't know if there's any like people out there that are listening that are aware of it. It's like say no more. So but yeah, the breakfast cereal. To be honest, I'm not a mad cereal person. I think if I were to pick one, it would have to be porridge.
Oh, okay.
Excellent.
You've just thrown Craig's whole world into a tizzy now, right? It's like, what? Excuse me. Everybody always pops in, with like, Lucky Charms or something that's like a kid's cereal that's kind of like a guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
You're like, I would like porridge. That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I've never really, I think it's probably because I'm not really like mad on sweet stuff generally.
Okay, yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know if I have breakfast, it's usually like something like yogurt or like scrambled eggs or something.
Right.
I try and be a bit like healthy.
Something that has any nutritional value in it is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Not just
sugar
and fat.
I'm an eggs and sausage guy myself.
Oh yeah. You can't beat that. You can't beat. Although I will say, one of my favourite breakfasts is that American style pancakes.
Oh, what are non-American style pancakes?
They're more like the crepe types.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
Ones.
Yeah, the better one.
Are you telling me that in America we've decided to make something worse for you and fattier and larger? Is this what you're
makes
trying
no
to
sense.
That makes
We're
no
very
sense
healthy.
to me.
No. The American pancakes are smaller. They're thicker, but they're smaller.
Oh,
so the ones so over here, like we have Pancake Day, which is it's Lent. And it happens once a year, so you have pancakes for at some point during the day, and they're like the size of like a plate.
Okay.
And they're thin, and and that's it. So you don't necessarily have them for breakfast either. But when I got onto the American style pancakes, they're thicker but they're fluffy because of the what is it? Baking powder or something like that.
Sure, right.
And and honestly, the combination with either blueberries or bacon, eggs, whatever, maple syrup is one of my favorite things.
That is really good.
Yeah, maple syrup is delicious.
Craig's got the whole show now turned into the breakfast time. The breakfast review show.
Yeah. Give it on something now.
Right. Everyone's hungry. It's close to lunch for us and dinner for you, right?
Yeah.
So you're like, that'd be great.
Right. Yeah.
So, believe it or not, we're already, the show is supposed to be over in 30 minutes. We do go over sometimes, but we have your block up next of the 3 Hollywood Brown songs. Starting with Heartbreaker. Is there anything, I always ask this question to the guests, is this something where you want to listen to it and then talk about it after, or is there anything you want to say about this block before people hear it?
I'll talk about it before. So, sorry about that, my throat's super dry, like it's like 26 degrees, I don't know what that is, like mid-80s or something.
Oh, okay.
And I've got my windows wound up so you don't hear like a whole bunch of traffic noise.
Oh, okay.
My AC's not working very well, so I'm absolutely just dying.
A continual sacrifice for the show. I appreciate that.
Oh yeah.
You on every normal Tuesday right now.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much. Now I'll talk about that was actually without going into too much detail. I took a step away from doing 80s music at some point, and I was doing just anything to do with funk, and I was enjoying that. And I guess I kind of got to a bit of I guess you would call it writer's block, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to write something different, and I'll see what happens. And Heartbreaker was actually the first of these songs that I've released that are back, that drew me back into this style.
Yeah, it was the first song of yours I heard, by the way. Heartbreaker was the first one that I heard of yours.
Oh, yeah. Great. Yeah, cool. That's really cool. So it kind of just came together really quickly, and I purposely kept it quite light on the production. And it's one that people seem to really like. Although it was like the first one of these I did, and it tends to be the most popular one. So I don't know if that's a sign or not.
Right? Yeah, it's hard to tell.
but no, that's
So the
Yeah,
other.
no, I
Oh, go on.
just wanted
Sorry.
to play live. Oh, sorry, no, that was
No, I was just saying the other two we have are Miami Beach and Chain Reaction in this block.
yeah.
Are there anything
so,
you want to say about those before we get into them?
Yeah, I think, Miami Beach, I really just tried to be as, Top Gun soundtrack as possible. Really lean into that.
Right.
And Chain Reaction, like,
It was what? Sorry, your phone's breaking up.
Sorry, Chain Reaction is, like, also like rock and roll and 80s hair metal and stuff like that. So I tried to do something like that, which I'd never done before, and I thought, let's give it a try, and I was really pleased with the results. And for some reason, that one's really started to like move a bit on the stream services and that. So
yeah, I would say
other people seem to like it as well.
Yeah, that is definitely my favorite track is Chain Reaction.
Ah, cool.
And that's hearing that after Heartbreaker, which was my favorite track, and then I heard Chain Reaction, and I'm like, okay, well, this is now my favorite track. It's a close second. Right. Heartbreaker is, but
cool.
I do love Chain Reaction.
That's great, and thanks for one. But also, I think the next lot of tracks I'll be writing will probably be a bit more in that sort of heavier style as well.
Nice.
So yeah, the fact that that you like that one, so hopefully they'll be good for the future as well.
Okay, well, let's get into it because we have time after this, and then we've got some other tracks to listen to. Right. So we're going to go over a little bit. So we'll probably rush a little bit in between the blocks, but
sure.
But we'll definitely come back and talk a little bit about it. But all right, so this first one up for everybody is Heartbreaker by Hollywood Brown.
Close my eyes, I will see you.
And we're back. That Chain Reaction was the perfect song to end that block on, I think. Just kind of kick you in the butt right before the block's over.
Love it.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, you did say you were a Van Halen,
Right.
Van Halen fans.
Yeah, I saw a little. I feel like in that intro of that song, you're like winking at me on stage while you're doing that intro. You know, you're like,
Yeah.
like, guess who I like? You know, or something. Very cool.
Like, yeah,
very
like
cool.
he just looks like he's like told you, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
I asked Nick Rickson in the chat what his favorite subgenre of his favorite genre of retrowave is, and he said panic attack wave. Which is,
What?
I don't know. If you know Nick, that's pretty funny to me.
That's the perfect
Excuse me.
answer.
Anyways, so
Right.
I'm sorry, like I said in before, we're a little bit rushed on stuff because we are coming up to the end. I wish we had more time, you know, to chat it up a bit. 'Cause I find you very interesting. It's always cool to meet people that, you know, in the scene that you've been talking to in, you know, chat rooms or instant messenger or whatever, right? So that's one of my favorite parts of doing the show. I get to, you know, chat it up a little bit with people I like and meet people more in person. But
Yeah, completely agree.
yeah. So what I think we should do here,
Yeah.
you brought along, or I asked you to suggest 3 other songs, right, that you wanted to play. Why don't we go into those and then we can come back and talk for a little bit more before we have to sign off? Is that fine with
Okay,
you guys?
Yeah.
I really don't want to talk to you anymore, Dave, but that's fine.
Oh, okay. All right, so Hollywood Brown, this is also the announcement that he is the new co-host of the show. And
love that- I
oh, you're
love
still
that.
here?
Best joke.
That joke, that joke is not old yet.
Oh. Whoa.
No, I love it. It's the best joke, I think.
Yeah, Hollywood Brown and I were talking yesterday when you couldn't get on the pre-show call, and we had this whole plan set up. So
It was a long con.
right, exactly.
Makes sense.
He's like,
Makes sense.
he's like, I'll come in late to the show, right? And then you have to rush, and then we'll drop the bomb on Woren and let him know.
That's all right.
But
I expected.
so you brought the three artists you brought was a song by Rogue Effects, collab by Maya and Perfect Female Type, and then Castell. Is there anything you can say about why you brought these tracks with us or to us?
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, you asked me about either influences or other artists that do a similar style that I like, and you know, when it comes to influences, most of my stuff is, you know, like actual 80s songs, and so you know, when I first started doing it, I didn't know anybody in the scene or whatever. And I suppose it kind of started with, you know, those 3 people were some of the first that I started to talk to. So I know their music well, and you know, the very different styles. But they all have something that I really enjoy, and I think with Rogue Effects, apart from, you know, the fact that he's a great guy, and this particular track I've played on a little bit of guitar on as well. So yeah, that's why I picked that one. But he's got a really sort of modern version of the retro style. So, you know, when we're talking about the bass earlier, stuff way more like bass heavy and that. But he's got a lot of cool melodies and a lot of cool bass lines.
Yeah.
So it's very
bass lines
very
for sure.
from what I do, but I enjoy listening to it.
He's got great bass
I
lines.
feel like
always.
Yeah, exactly, and I think that's kind of where, you know, we have some similarities. You know, bass lines are always something I you know, work on very hard and groove. So even though like the styles are, okay, superficially similar, but ultimately very different, I think that's something that you know, we both work hard on and got a bit of common ground there. So yeah, hence that one. With Maya, she's got a really cool retro style as well. So I feel like she's maybe a bit closer to me in that sort of, you know,
that authentic,
really 80s, so,
that authentic sound, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you know,
Maya's great.
Yeah, I mean, and she was one of the first people I started talking to who've been really welcoming to me. We are actually going to do a collab. There's no details for it yet, but there will be
Excellent.
something at some point. So that's something to look forward to. Because I don't really write for other people very often, so that's
Sure.
I'm looking forward to that a lot. And she's got a really good voice, like a proper singer, and I don't feel like you get that many women in the scene. So
For sure.
That's great to see as well. So yeah. And lastly, Castell. I don't know. There's something really unique about his sound. He's a guitar player as well, so I think
I like Castell. He's the only I've never connected with him, and I didn't even know if it was a him or them or whatever. But I do like Castell, and it's so and so you brought all these people, and I'm like, oh, I should reach out to Castell and be like, what's up? Just introduce myself. Something music is
absolutely.
Music is really
he's a nice
good.
guy as well. He's a nice guy as well. So we talk sometimes, about, music stuff and whatever. And yeah, he's a guitar player as well. So, and great songs. They're all well written. I think I picked these three because I just, they're all well written songs that I enjoy listening to. So,
Nick Rickson just said that Maya and Castell have a single out on Friday. So that's good to know.
Yes, they do.
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry, I should have mentioned that, shouldn't I?
Yeah, well, I should have remembered that because I think I've seen that post too. It's hard to keep stuff going on the show, keep my brain focused on anything except the conversation. But
yeah, I know what you mean. It's there's a lot going on, isn't there? So yeah, but yeah. So yeah, that was the story behind those three tracks.
Okay, well, let's listen to these, and then we'll come back and we talk for a minute and say our goodbyes. Because we are coming up to the top of the hour. So this first one up we have is Night Crawling by Rogue Effects.
Now's the time to come alive.
your stories. Listen to your stories. Punishment to fit the crime. You ain't got no worries. No. Anytime you put it on, I want it. Rocket ships ain't nothing new to me. Now you're losing altitude, and I'm just not about it. No. This fight is out of control. I can't take it no more. I'm up, side down. Oh, baby, you got me. I'm right where you want me. I gotta wise up. Don't wanna lose my way. Find someone else to run around, 'cause I'm not playing your game. Twisting through the atmosphere, we tumble down from heaven. Tumble down from heaven. Now I'm all alone out here at 11:15. Oh, my friends think you must be misbehaving. Your friends only see a shooting star. Now I'm waiting at the club. Something new to happen. This fight is out of control. I can't take it no You're just out of your mind. I'm up, side down. Oh, baby, you got me. I'm right where you want me. I gotta wise up. Don't wanna lose my way. Find someone else to run around, 'cause I'm not playing your game. Find someone else to run around, 'cause I'm not playing your games.
Red digits on the wall say it's not too late. Still the seconds count down to the next mistake. There goes another bridge burning down in flames. How long until I lose my head again? Never have to try that hard. There's always trouble coming. Can I go back to the start to make it right? Oh, get another day. Don't throw it all away. Tomorrow is a promise you just can't keep. Got to find a way to replay yesterday. Tomorrow is a promise you just can't keep. Each year that comes round a bigger pill to take. Every page that's turned still reads the same. Get another day, don't throw it all away. Tomorrow is a promise you just can't keep. Got to find a way to replay yesterday.
And we're back. Yeah, definitely that last Castell song. Very retro wave, like very authentic sounding to the era. I totally get why you like that a lot. I mean, why you feel a connection with that one.
Yeah, that's my favourite one of these.
Yeah, it's a great song.
Yeah, really cool.
So as far
You
as
just snapped me out of it there when you were talking.
yeah, it's such a great track. So what's the future for? I know you were talking a little bit about doing an album with a little bit more of like an 80s rock edge on it, but what can people expect from you coming in the near future?
Okay, yeah. So obviously we've got the remix coming tomorrow, part of Rickson's album.
That's out today, actually. That's out right now.
Oh, it's out today.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was out tomorrow. I had Wednesday in my head. Oh, of course. Oh, yes. Yeah, and then I have, what else do I have? There will be a collab with Maya at some point, and I am also doing a cover which should be out in July.
Oh, okay, that's pretty soon.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the 4th of July. So I won't spoil what it is yet, but it should be a lot of fun. And then so I've been working with some live musicians to make the gigs more interesting, because I do gigs sometimes, but I do them by myself.
Yeah, you're solo with like backing stuff, right? Like tracks.
That's
and that
right.
Kind of thing? Right.
Yeah,
I've seen some stuff on Instagram, I think, of you on stage.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just singing and playing guitar, and the rest is on a track. So I've been working with some people to make it a bit more of a band. So the first gig is going to be in August. So yeah, we'll sort of see how that goes, and I think if that all goes well, then there'll definitely be more gigs on the horizon, and I'll carry on writing.
So it could turn it. Do you think it would turn into a recording band or just a live band?
It's just a live band, I think.
You'll do the solo recording thing, and then they'll perform it. Like you'll perform live with like a backing crew, is what you're saying.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just when it comes to full bands, I've been in and had bands in the past, and there's just so much added complications when you're starting to add more, dynamics. As in, we want to write the song together.
Right.
And then it takes a long time to settle on something, and then it's okay, we want to record something. It makes it way more expensive, because the stuff I do in my little home studio, apart from buying the equipment, it's the time's free,
right?
Right.
So
and then if you get into recording analog drums, that's a whole other nightmare right there.
Yeah, but
yeah,
there's nothing like playing a live show with a full band, though. It's such an amazing feeling. So.
Exactly, and I think that's really the main thing. Like I've got a good sort of workflow going when it comes to writing and recording. But yeah, playing live, it's just not the same without at least a drummer and a bass player to get that that real feel going.
Right.
So the keyboard will still be on a track, because good luck finding a keyboard player.
Right.
It's just impossible. Plus, it would be cool, but I think that's maybe for the future. But my main focus was a drummer and a bass player. So, so yeah, that should be really cool. So I'm really excited for that, and and I think it's once I've sort of finished the collabs. I did another one with Andrew Corbin.
Okay.
And I recorded a little guitar solo for one of his tracks, so that should be coming out in July as well.
Wow, there's a bunch of stuff happening. A lot of times I ask this question and people are like, I don't know, just check my Instagram. I got some stuff coming up, maybe, or whatever.
Well, it's kind of lucky because whilst you were playing the last few tracks, I actually got home, so I managed to run inside, park the car, run inside, and I'm actually at my PC now. So
Okay.
I've got my little schedule up, and I was feeling you'd be asking me this. So yeah, that's something. Probably do another cover at some point. And last year I did a Halloween themed
Yeah, that's right.
track. Yeah, so I really wanted to do like a sort of thriller type music video for it, which I didn't have time for.
Mm-hmm.
So I might try and do that for this year's Halloween to see, see
That'd
how
be
I
cool.
go. I can't promise anything, but
Right. You heard it
really,
here, right?
yeah,
Official announcement.
It's locked in now.
Right, you find
so
out we
yeah.
have investors set up and everything, and now you're stuck doing it, right, or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that would be cool. So yeah, I'll see if I can get that to work, and then yeah, it's just going to be a case of starting to write the next album. I guess. I'm not. Really...
I love that process though. That's the best part because you get to kind of like toy with different sounds, and then like kind of like broaden what you're doing, and maybe even like expand upon what you've learned over the course of doing the last one. And it's good. I think it's good to keep going because then it helps you stay motivated and fresh.
Yeah, this is the thing. I think it was a lot of work. Getting the album done for earlier this year, so a lot of time mixing and all that, and I just felt like I needed a little bit of a break from my own stuff. So hence I thought, yeah, this is the time to do some collabs and a cover or something. So that was really good.
The mixing and mastering phase makes me like hate every song by the time it's out.
That's right.
Yeah, because you've heard it like 50,000 times, and then it's just like, oh God, just let it be done,
Right. Or you get into that thing where no matter what you do, everything sounds bad, and you just because you're oversaturated with it, or that's what I get into anyways. You're like, I can't hear this anymore.
Yeah, I get like that as well. It's so if I sit down to mix, like I'll start and I go, okay, cool, and then after a couple of hours, you get ear fatigue, and then it's just like I can't hear it, so I just have to stop.
Right.
I just end up ruining something that was probably okay by pushing it in a totally different direction. So, but yeah, no, I'm looking forward to starting to write some new stuff. And like you were saying, you sort of take the things you learned from last time and some new ideas that you go. So I've got a couple of little ideas that I've hummed into my voice notes on my phone, and a couple of bits I've written down. So yeah, I think I've got a little something going. So yeah, the only thing I'd say is I probably won't be doing loads of singles. And I mean, I know everybody says like, do the singles. But I find that I don't really enjoy that process as much. When you're doing that, I've got to release every 6 weeks and stick. It becomes too much of like a pressure cycle.
Yes. And you're oversaturating in a way. You know what I mean? Like you're almost like oversaturating your own sound and ruining it. Like that's why I like albums so much, is because like it gives you like a full comparable, like a cohesive thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I completely agree. Because otherwise you end up with these random tracks that don't fit in with anything. And for me, it's like, I like writing the songs, but it's not a complete body of work until it's like an album, a record. So, I completely agree with you. It's more like a finished piece of art. By the time you've got it all together and you've got your cover art and all that.
I also feel like that's just like the mark of like an accomplished musician as well. You know what I mean? Like
you're what? You cut
Sorry,
out.
my daughter decided to speak to me right as I was doing that. I was going to say that when you do, I lost track of what I was saying.
Something about when you do a full album.
Oh yeah. All right. My bad. Sorry. So when you're doing a full album, I always look at it like, that's like the mark of like you've accomplished being the musician. You know what I mean? Like like you're building bodies of work as opposed to like one-offs that you know what I mean? Like hope do really well.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, completely get where you're coming from. It's just, I don't know. It feels like it has more like validity in a way.
For sure.
Long term, because and I'm talking just from my own perspective. Like if I do a song.
Yeah, these are just my opinions as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Not law.
Okay. You do a song, you push it out, it's okay, done, ignore it, move on to the next one. It's like you don't give it time to breathe, whereas if you're working on the album, you go back to the songs and you might go, I might need to change something, or I might, take something in a slightly different direction. Like I've done that for the album on a couple of tracks. You might go back to something from 2 years ago, you go, hang on a minute, there's something in here. And
my thing is, like when I was younger and when I was getting into any band, it was always, where's the album? You know what I mean? Like that's, and maybe that's just an old way of thinking or something, but I really truly think that like we're almost doing a disservice to each other nowadays by like falling into this like weird beat the algorithm thing. You know what I mean? Where everybody's trying to just like release, and then it just becomes a sea of singles. And then what are you going to do? You know what I mean? Like how are you supposed to rise above that?
Exactly, and that's another one of these, like my, sort of going back to the old school ways and a simpler sort of way of being. This is all part of the experience, and I completely agree with that sea of releases as well. Like I'd rather, you have to wait for it a bit, because if it comes out and you go, that's great, then it was worth waiting for. Whereas if I do something every 4 weeks or something, I might trigger the algorithm, but it might not. And all I've done then is just bored you with a whole load of songs that that don't have like a story together. Yeah,
there's no cohesion.
Yeah, exactly. So again, that's just my opinion. And again, they're coming at it from the old school. When I still. Yeah, I have playlists, but I still enjoy listening to albums and playing.
For sure.
Yeah.
Playing
people
records,
still release albums. That's the thing, though. Like,
if you
look
all the
at
time.
These bigger artists
They
and everything
do.
that are out there. They release full albums. You just hear the singles like you should. Like that's what's supposed to happen.
Right.
Exactly. They're the radio songs. But then if you like them and you check out the rest of the album, they're the ones you listen to, in your car or sitting on the sofa or doing something.
Sure, you're doing dishes, anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You look around the house. Yeah,
exactly. And those album tracks have they add a lot to the overall story for me. So if you've got an album that you really enjoy, say like Rio by Duran Duran, everybody knows Rio and everybody like the Wolf, but then there's a couple of tracks on there that you never hear, and they're all part of the story, and they're exciting to hear again, because you don't hear them all the time. And when you listen to the album in one sitting, you're picturing the band sitting in the studio working on these tracks and writing the songs together, and that it's all part of the whole flow, isn't it?
Right.
So,
I think that it's a really important thing to do when you're working on your music. I think it's very important to think about like what you want. What do you expect from your audience? Do you want everybody just to be like, hey, really cool single every whatever, how many weeks it is between each one, and then or do you want them to like cherish your album? Like I said, I got Dave's. Did we announce that yet, Dave?
Yeah, you brought it up.
I got
the
Dave's
record
vinyl
arrived
today. Yeah, Dave's vinyl today, and like that makes me like overjoyed that I get to play like the whole thing. You know what I mean? Like I'm not like, whoa, I can't wait to hear the one track or whatever on here. Like it's like I listen to a full album.
Well, it's almost not worth it on a physical, especially vinyl, right? If you only want one song.
Right, that'd be silly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean,
could.
though? Like,
yeah.
I do, because especially when you're dealing, with physical media, it's like you're holding something in your hand that somebody made.
Yeah.
That spent hours and hours working on, you know, and especially, you know, us, you know, level doing it all ourselves with, you know, a bit of help here and there, but you know, there's no whole marketing machine and whatever behind it. You know, you make your own connections with people that you like that might, you know, do your artwork for you, or you might learn to do it yourself, or you know, that kind of thing. You're holding in your hand the finished product, and somebody made, and it's somebody that's really cool as well. Like, you wouldn't have been able to do that, you know, in the 80s and 90s. You know, you can talk to this person, you know, which is even more fun. Is like, I know this guy and he made this, you know.
Yeah, that was cool. Like I have your CD like 1 foot away from me on this table here, actually.
Oh, no way. Oh,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, but I agree. I like the physical stuff a lot. I think it really makes a difference. I know some people don't care about that still, or like anymore, but for me, it's always the way I like to go if I like the record. But
yeah, I mean, I have younger nieces and nephews, and they still pick up albums. Like if they like somebody enough, they'll go buy the album, they'll go buy the CD, or they'll pick it up digitally or whatever they do. But because I mean, I've had the same conversation with my nephew who's only like 14, so it's like I think that people still do enjoy full physical copies of things and then full albums. That's, you know,
yeah,
sounds good.
Yeah, I think so too. And I don't think that's an age thing either. I think it's more a you know, whether you're somebody that quite enjoys music, and you know, or whether you're a music lover. And I think that's the difference. You know, if you're just happy to, you know, yeah, I like a bit of music in the background.
I feel like this is such a dividing conversation right now.
Yeah.
The people
but
left in the chat are going back and forth about
I have
this.
nothing against. I have nothing against people who release singles. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to do singles and that's what you have time for, like, I have nothing against that.
No, neither do I. It's whatever works for you and how it fits in with your life and what you're trying to.
Strictly my opinion.
Achieve. Yeah, you know, it's just
disclaimer.
How I like to do it is, you know, in this way, and we all have our own opinions, and everyone's opinions equally valid, because there's no right or wrong. You know, it's just how it is.
Sure.
So that's just, you know, it's
just a feeling, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know, and all that's just you know, totally cool. And you know, I think you know, with the physical stuff, some people care about having something they can hold on to, and others don't. And again, nothing more or less valid about it. It's just one of those, you know. So,
yep,
you know, it's all good. So, but it's interesting to see, you know, that in this day and age, you know, you can still sell albums, so it shows that people care, which is great.
I agree. Yeah, 100%.
So we're way over. We got to wrap up, unfortunately. Where's the best place for people to find your stuff? Your website, or what do you update the most, do you think?
Yeah, probably my Instagram, when it comes to excuse me, when it comes to announcements, and the website as well. And then when it comes to the actual music, Bandcamp, of course.
Right.
And, you know, well, the usual streaming things.
Right.
Yeah, I'd say Instagram and my website.
And Hollywood Brown is a unique name, right? There aren't other Hollywood Browns floating around, correct?
Not that I've seen.
Okay.
Well, if there are, then we got to do something about that.
Oh, Craig, before we go, Craig has been wondering, he was asking about your car, but I think what he's really asking about is, like, do you drive some sort of retro cool car or something to kind of fit with the aesthetic?
You know, I would love to.
You can literally answer this any way
you can just lie, right?
I know.
They have to believe it.
I'm going to be honest and say that whilst it's old, it's not retro in that sense. It's just a 20-year-old like sedan.
Oh, okay.
It's
This is the way. If you would have said minivan, I would have been all in.
Right. No, but it would have to be one of the minivans with the big, like, you know, like mystical drawing on the side with like wizards and like, you know, dragons and everything. Right?
Yeah, right. It's him playing a guitar solo while sliding across a dragon's back.
Right. And everything's on fire in the background with orcs and everything.
Everywhere that he slid, he left a trail of fire.
Trail of fire.
Neon. Yeah.
Right.
That's brilliant.
So,
yeah, unfortunately, it's not exciting, but you know, I love cars. I don't like modern cars at all, but you know, sort of 90s and earlier cars. So yeah, hopefully in the next couple of years, I can fulfill my dream of picking up something like an old Corvette or
oh, nice. That would be perfect for you.
Or something like that. Yeah, you know.
I just want a Porsche 911. That's all.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe if the sales do okay, I'll pick one of those.
Yeah.
Pick one or two of them up.
Maybe I can crowdfund it. You never know, right?
I'm always so jealous because, you know, like any of the cool old Trans Ams and Corvettes, and there's so many in America. Like you can pick them up for like a few grand, and okay, they're not super expensive over here, but they're quite rare.
I mean, I don't know about that. Everything over here is very expensive.
No, but you can pick up one. I've looked into this. Like, you can pick up like an 80s Trans Am that you're going to have to put a lot of work into, but it's like $4,000 or something.
Oh, sure. Yes. Yeah. For sure. Yes. Yeah. You could probably junkyard shop that for sure.
Right. But
yeah. See, I mean, you're probably looking double, if not 3 times as much for that same condition.
Right.
To fix it up and then, you know, rebuild it with the parts and everything you would need for sure.
Yeah, it's just there's not many of them around.
You know what they need to do is just make all the retro vehicles again, but just put new stuff in it.
I always say this, you know, they do this with sneakers. Like, why don't they do this with cars?
Oh, that's a great idea.
Like a greatest hits kind of thing.
Right,
you know,
like a vintage-looking car with modern everything else inside.
Yeah,
so it looks awesome, but it is
exactly.
You know, it doesn't have all the problems.
Because, you know, like you know, if you know, if you can crash it without flying through the windscreen or get crushed, you know, that'd be a bonus. So I'm all for that. But at the same time, I still want pop-up headlights. You know, like
right.
Yeah, I want the pop-up headlight that I can make them separately do it, so I can make it like wink at somebody almost.
Yep, you got to do the wink.
Yeah.
I'd like to be able to do the wink.
You got to have eye decals on the front of the lights, right? So it looks like eyeballs, right? Yeah. Got to go all in.
The holographic RGB, you know, look that you just drive around with, just blinding everybody.
So we have, we still have 3 songs left to play out the show. So we do have to cut it, unfortunately. But I wanted to thank you for coming on. I've been looking forward to this a lot. I'm really glad that you were able to make the time with all the schedule and everything.
Yeah, and we've talked multiple times.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, thanks for having me.
So keep your mic muted. If you have to go, you can drop off the call. If you can hang through this till the end of the show for, you know, just a quick chat after, that's fine too. It's whatever your schedule is. But so it's up to you.
Yeah, I'll try and stay on, but I'll have to check.
Yeah.
I'll let you go now.
All right, but either way, just mute your mic if you're gonna hang, just so you don't come in during this last track. But I wanted to thank everybody else in the chat too for coming by and hanging with us. And like every week, it is better and better for me. I always say it's my favorite day of the week, and that is absolutely true. And I love hanging out with you.
I got a bingo. Look at that.
You got a bingo. It was fun talking with finding out more about the Hollywood Brown and everything. So next week,
for sure. Yeah, like I said, we talk on Instagram occasionally and laugh and make a lot of jokes and stuff. So it's fun.
But, But we will be back next week at the same time, and we'll announce our guests and everything on Instagram like we do. But Hollywood Brown, thank you again for coming by, and we will see everybody next week. Hope everybody has a great rest of their Tuesday.
Thanks again for having me.
Stop.